a choice right now between fear and love.
Expanding reality.
Welcome to Expanding Reality. I am your host, Brandon Thomas. On this episode, Jay Henehan. He is the host of How to Kill a Sacred Cow podcast, which is very cool. Jay and I met when we both actually did the Union of the Unwanted a few weeks back. So we connected through there. He's an incredible dude, guys. His show is awesome. He's got a wonderful band. This is a different conversation than we've ever had on the show before, but I loved it. It was absolutely perfect. He is amazing, and we went all over the place with this, guys. From music to manifestation, numerology, the C word, of course, and then his love of Greek pottery. The dude is fascinating. So without any further ado, guys, Jay Henehan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, very excited to have Jay Henehan on the show. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Fucking A, dude. Every day above ground is a great day. Thank you so much for asking, man. Super excited to get you on. We've been just talking here for like the past half hour, and I was like, oh shit, we have to record. We have a show to do. So that's how this guy is, though, ladies and gentlemen. He is absolutely incredible. You will love him. He is a singer in a band, and that's all I know about him. I think he's got a podcast, too. So How to Kill a Sacred Cow. Jay, tell the folks just a little bit about yourself, my friend.
So I'm Jay Henehan. I run the How to Kill a Sacred Cow podcast. Originally, it was just supposed to be a show that was trying to bridge the gap, the chasm between the left and the right that had kind of grown in the Trump era years. And I wanted to get people together and just have adult ass conversations so that we could, maybe try to find some common ground. And then 2020 hit, and it just veered into a conspiracy theory podcast. And so that's just where I've been existing for the past year and a half, although it's in my wheelhouse anyways, but it wasn't the original intention of the show. And I've just been plugging away at it for since 2019. And I'm also in a band. I've been in George Orwell the Musical. It's a tech metal band. Mathcore is what we call it if you're in the know. We've been in that band since we were we've all been in the same band pretty much since we were 14, 15, 16. This particular band started when we were all like 17, so it's about 2005, 2006. We've been together, just trying to play the most difficult music that we can possibly play in a live setting.
That's right. And your song, you graciously let me swap the intro song out for it. It sounds incredible, dude. You have a lot of it. It's a really cool setup. You guys make some awesome music. I love it. I'd been listening to it since you told me about it. All of your song titles have numbers in them. Did you guys do that on purpose?
Yes, I write all the lyrics. My guitarist writes all the songs, and my bassist comes in and he drops a song on us. We're like, oh my God, that's fucking incredible. We're using it. He does like two. Actually, one of the new albums we're working on, I think he wrote like 3 out of 4 of them. So that was very intentional. So the name of the album is 2084. So the name is George Orwell the Musical. Of course, 2084 is supposed to be 1984 plus 100 years. The song titles themselves, first it came from Room 101 was the first song that I wrote. It ended up being the last song on the album. But I just like the idea of having numbers being the titles for all the songs. And I'm getting chills thinking about it right now because I just figured it out the other day. I wrote this fucking album in like 2016, 2017, something like that. And there's a song called 123 Words. And I was listening to it one day, just preparing for the show because I forgot some of the lyrics and because we'd written it so long ago. And I'm thinking like there's this part in there. It's a speaking part. There's like ambiance and speaking. And it's just kind of talking. It's supposed to mirror that chapter that Winston reads to Julia when they're up in the apartment when they're reading about Goldstein's manifesto. But I was like, I wonder if this part is actually 123 words. I plugged it into fucking Google Docs, and I was just like, no fucking way. It is 123 fucking words. The only thing I had to do was put so I put everything out. It came to 119 words, and then I was like, oh, that's a little disappointing. It's really close. But then I put 123 words above it as the title, and I was like, no.
Dude.
Yeah, I lost my shit. I'm still fucking.
Damn, that is awesome.
Yeah. I listened to a lot of Maria 777, my Maria. She has a podcast. I don't know if you know her. Do you know her?
Yeah. No, I don't know her, but I've heard of her and I like her show. Yeah.
Oh, she's incredible. But I wrote out a couple of numbers that I was like, these are going to be my manifestation numbers. You know, that's big on a lot of the stuff she does, manifestation and stuff like that. So for whatever reason, I chose 28, 33, and 47 because 47 is her number. Mm-hmm. And 33 was my number because I'm 33 this year. And I decided this was going to be my year. You know, finally, like I was going to leave all the bullshit behind. This was going to be my year. And it's actually really turning out to be that way. I just turned 33 June 20th. And so one of my mantras is 28-3. Now, I don't know if you know much about football. That was the score, the Patriots and Falcons Super Bowl. With 2 minutes left in the third quarter, was 28-3. The Patriots were losing. And I put that up on my dream board so that every morning I wake up, it just tells me, like, doesn't matter how fucking terrible it is, how behind you are, there's still a chance the game's not over. And I was looking at my manifestation numbers and I was like, why did I pick 28, 33, 47? And I was like, oh, well, I picked 28 because it's, 28-3, but that was subconscious. And I was like, that's easily explainable. It was on the same board, whatever. And then 33. And then I'm looking at it and I'm like, holy shit, 28-3, 28-3. And I was like, wow, that's fucked up. And then it's 28-33-47. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my God, 34 is right there. The final score of the game was 28-34. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And 7 for good luck. It's another touchdown. And I was just like, I had to step away. Like between that, I figured that out and 123 words in the same like 2 or 3 days. And I was just like, all right, this is my year. This is going to be my year.
That's so cool. It's amazing how the universe says that, man. And I love what you're talking about the numbers. Now, the sequential numbers is angel numbers is what I've heard them referred to as, but these are supposed to be little breadcrumbs from the universe, little reminders. And you can look them up and they, people say different things about them, right? But all of it's positive shit. None of it's like you're going to get your dick chopped off. If you see 888 or something like that, that's actually a really good one. You want that one. So whenever you see numbers in sequential, do you pay attention to these on like license plates and all that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You see them all the time. How is this a pretty recent phenomena or have you done it for a long time?
Well, you know what? It's kind of like, for whatever reason, I've always been fascinated with numbers. Like Marty Leeds is one of my favorite dudes in the whole world. He's all about numbers and letters and numbers and stuff like that, gematria. And of course, like that, I did the numbers all for, for 2084. So catch 22 is it like that part. So, okay. I might have to back it up a little bit because that album is supposed to be in a series of albums of which we're like still creating. And the particular element of that album is fire. So all of the lyrics have to do with fire, but the whole thing is not just about fire. It's about the destructive nature of fire and the positive nature of light, and the difference between the two. Most of the album is about Prometheus and how he brought fire to the humans. And the gods railed against him for it. You weren't supposed to do that shit. But the way that humans turned around and used fire for evil at the same time, cooked their food in the evil. And then there's another title is like I said, 123 words. And then there's Room 101. What? Oh shit, I'm forgetting the name of the first one. Fahrenheit 450. Fahrenheit
451 degrees of Fahrenheit, actually.
Yeah, that's because and that's that song. It like those songs are all about the death and destruction of warfare, but how it ties together, like going all the way back to it's filled with all types of like classical Greek allusions, all those myths and mythology and stuff like that. And like it's littered with all kinds of just super obscure shit that I totally did for myself. No one is ever going to fucking know that I pulled an entire sentence out of A Tale of Two Cities. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's ever going to fucking catch that. But because at the time I was reading Moby Dick, and like reading Moby Dick is just like, if you don't understand all of those allusions from the great books of the Western world, you're fucking lost. Like they're talking about, the head was weighed down by the two heads of a whale. One was Spinoza, the other one was Kant, and you're trying to figure out which to drop. When if you drop them both, you'd be better off anyway. And it was Melville's way of saying like you don't need the philosophy. Life is philosophy. So I was like trying to like shove a bunch of shit in there, like I'm big on Greek and Roman history. So like the Pythia played a huge role in it also. And I'm sorry, I got away from it. So yeah, number manifestation, like it's weird because when you start manifesting numbers, you start choosing numbers to manifest in your life, you start seeing them. But then when you think back, you start seeing them in your past. And that's what really fucks you up. Is like when you start realizing that those numbers go back in time, you were already doing it. And like I said, that's what I did with 123 words. That was not intentional at all. And I still get freaked out about it.
It's awesome. These types of things are fascinating to me, and these are part of the synchronicities that I pay attention to as well. Now, the question you ask yourself, of course, is are they occurring because I'm paying attention to them, and therefore I notice things that are already there anyway that I just wasn't dialed into? I always use the reference of the Lego piece. I don't know. I'm a huge Lego nerd. I don't know. Did you play with Legos as a child?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you remember eventually all of your sets end up in this tub, right? And so later on, you're fishing through this thing. You're trying to find that 4x4 piece, You're just like, I just need one of those. And you're like, I know I have 30 of these things in here, but you can't find a damn one of them. And then when you're like, okay, fine, I'll go look at the 2x2s and I'll come back to the 4x4. The second you look for a 2x2, you found all 30 plus 5 of the 4x4s that you were looking for originally. It's this Zen thing, and I don't understand it because that contradicts the fact that once you start paying attention to something, you see it everywhere. But the Zen thing about this is that idea is what you pay attention to disappears. I think I got that from the movie Hot Rod, actually. I'm actually certain that I did. Bill Hader,
yeah.
That's a great movie. But this is what's so weird about this is that it's both. So which is it? I mean, obviously yours works because you're paying attention to it, and so you draw it to you. But don't you feel like sometimes something you're looking for is just out of reach, like you can't find it even though you know it should be right there?
Yeah, I think that's because you're trying to find it.
That's it, right?
Yeah, and we spoke about this on my podcast. That's you start finding that once you have that element, that the missing element of manifestation is letting go. Once you just let go and you don't give a shit about it, it comes fucking running to you. And you can't get away from that. I used to play this game with people when I first started learning about manifestation because I studied massage therapy. I never practiced it, but I went through all the schooling and stuff like that. So we learned you learn about all that stuff, including astrology. They teach you, they're trying to make like a well-rounded practitioner. And I used to fuck with people. I'd see people rummaging around in their bag. And I'll tell them like, what are you looking for? They're like, oh, I'm looking for this fucking pen or whatever they're looking for in their bag. And I would just like reach into the bag and grab it and pull it out. They're like, how the fuck did you do that? I was like, because I wasn't looking for it. And I used to I do that with my own bag all the time. Like if I'm saying I'm trying to find shit in there, and I'm like, oh, it's because I'm trying to look for it. And you just pull it out. You have the most success with manifesting the thing that you want if you just let it go.
It is this idea. It is the idea that you have to just release it and not think about it to attract it. But what's interesting about it is if you're curious about or interested in it anyway, it's the largest contradiction to me in the manifestation process. It's the hardest one. And the more you think about it, the harder it becomes. The more you think about not thinking about it, that's all you're thinking about. It's this cycle. And so the letting go part of it's very, very interesting. So what's the tip? Like, let's say you set an intention. Is the tip to then go do something completely different that has nothing to do with that?
Well, there's like a time and a place to do both, right? You have to set the parameters first. So I'm like a big Bob Proctor fan. Mm-hmm. I just feel like he overdoes it sometimes. Mm-hmm. But one of his biggest things, he says, if you hold it in your mind, you'll hold it in your hand. So there is a time you have to sit down there and you have to You have to say, this is what I want. You have to specify what it is, you know, whether it's a goal, a relationship, a thing, money, whatever the hell it is. You have to have that time to sit down and say, this is what I want. You have to concentrate on it, think about it, envision it. You have to see yourself holding the thing. And then after you've had that time, whether that's, you know, a couple minutes before bed or a couple minutes after waking up or a couple minutes in the middle of the day. But once you close the book on those moments, you can't think about it. You know, you have to get up, go about your life, and then it just comes to you. You know, I mean, granted, there's always there's always the times when it doesn't, but that's because it's not supposed to. And you usually find that if there's something that you want, the universe has a fucked up way of doing this to you too, where if there's something that you want, it won't give it to you right away. It'll either make you work for it or it'll give you something better because you were patient and didn't freak the fuck out because you didn't get the thing like a little baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
What's interesting about it, though, is the idea also of manifestation is you have to put work into it. So let's say, for instance, you're working to have a yard of the month, and you've just decided, I want yard of the month. I'm manifesting that. And so I then go outside and tend my garden because that's part of it, right? The whole time you're doing the work that's necessary to achieve garden of the month, you're thinking about garden of the fucking month. And so whenever you do that, you're visualizing yourself. It's part of the same practice, but can you put too much energy into the visualization? And then that's where it starts to repel, because that's when it starts to become, I guess, more desirable. Or it's almost like do you see the contradiction that most people struggle with here? It's this, and I'm sure you did as well until you figured it out, right?
Yeah, and I'm not claiming either to have entirely figured it out.
I am claiming for you, folks. I will link to your certificate in the bottom that I will have a website made for that you are the go-to guy for this and no one else.
Yeah, so the work is a huge part of it because the universe only gives you the opportunity to do the work.
Right.
You know, and you have to take it up on the opportunity and you have to do the work, you know. And so when you are of course, like, so maybe there's another element to this, right? You know, there's the visualization, there's the walking away from it, but then there's the doing it when the opportunity is given to you. You know what I mean? And in those moments, of course, you're engaging with the thing directly. But even while you're doing it, it's like there's a great joke by Chris Rock. He said, you know, God was going through and he created the heavens and the earth and then he created light and all the animals and all the fish and all that stuff. He did all that stuff for 6 days. And on the seventh day, he rested. It was like, now, why? Because, you know, God's a perfect being. Why would he rest? He was like, have you ever rested because you were killing it? I was like, no, you were sitting there. You're like, all right, I'm fucking this up. It's time to take a rest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, so of course that's another element too. You can't overwork yourself. You know, you can't, if you're trying to have garden of the month, you can't work on that shit for 29 straight days. You're going to fuck it up.
Damn. Okay. So yard of the month is as good as mine, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can have it. Are you actually trying to have yard of the month?
No. Mm-mm. Just
okay, cool.
Fucking with you. We're just having fun. Hard segue. Are you ready for it?
Sure.
Secret to life. Go.
Secret to life.
Yeah, all of it. What do you got?
Oh shit. Secret to life. Okay, secret to life. Wow. I mean, I guess it would just be spending time with the people that you love, whether that's friends or family, as well as loving the work that you're doing. I guess there's nothing worse than living a life that you don't want to live. I mean, how many people do that? They're entirely miserable. But I mean, it's
a lot of them.
But I mean, the musician in me would say music. Music is the fucking secret to life. That's the meaning of life. You can learn so much about yourself and the world from music. You know what I mean? That's someone was asking me the other day. They're like, you know, don't you understand that this idea and that idea is a contradiction? Like, you have to be logically consistent across time and space. And I was like, dude, I'm a musician. I'm a relativist. You know, the melody is dependent on the key.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
It's everything. And even from measure to measure, as you're going through the chord progression, you're going to have to change the melody to match the new chord. You know, it could be the same amount of steps. It could be the same exact melody, but up a fifth or a fourth, but that goes with arguments too. Like a lot of people get stuck on something. And they're like, well, you're supposed to have this logical consistency. You think, I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head. I really can't right now. But like, you think these two different things, don't you see that's a contradiction? It's like, well, it's apples and oranges. And it's even if they retort with, oh, well, they're both fruit. It's like, well, yeah, but you peel an orange and you I know I'm butchering the metaphor. Mixed metaphor, started with the musician metaphor, but forget how I got there. Secret of life. Yeah. I would say children, but I'm a father. I love my son. I fucking hate children.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
And I'm not a father, and I love kids. I think they're great. Exactly. My favorite part is, all right, go back, because I'm a big kid anyway. So when kids come over, we show them the ranch and stuff like that. I have a blast with kids because, again, I'm basically 11 in a 38-year-old body. That's it. Mm-hmm. And it's wonderful. But yes, my favorite part of children is they're awesome, and I'm like, and it pooped itself. Here you go. Take it back. It's great.
Yeah.
No, so secret to life, kids, really?
No, I would say that if I liked kids, but I don't.
But your kid, maybe, is a secret to life. You can make the secret to life your own kid. It doesn't have to be a whole genre of children.
Right. Yeah, and that totally changed my life. I mean, I would not be a responsible adult without having a child. And for many years also there, I was not a responsible adult. Still took time many years after he was born. Secret to life, maybe it's just sex.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's probably like my favorite thing to do. If I could do that all day, every day, I'd do that.
Yeah. Okay. That's honest. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Secret to life is sex. You guys heard it here. How to Kill a Sacred Cow. They talk about that all the time. That's his whole mantra. You should just change the name of the show to that. So you and I also are going to do a splinter off band called James Dean's Corvette. What do you think about it?
Ooh, James Dean's. Where'd you come up with that name?
Just now.
Oh, cool. Now, do you play? So when you were touring, did you do acoustic solo stuff?
Yep.
Is that what that? I love acoustic solo stuff. Where's my guitar? Oh, my guitar's in its case. Yeah, I play a classical. This is a nylon classic.
Action. Okay.
Oh my God, I love it. It's a Cordoba. Spent $350 on it like a decade ago, and I can't buy another guitar. Like I try them out in the music store, and I'm just like, I can't do it.
I've got a classical. I don't ever play it. I like drew all over it. I'm kind of creative with the guitars or whatever. The one that I put up on, I don't know if you saw the Grace McCormick episode, but anyway, she that guitar I hand carved with a Phillips head screwdriver because I was fucking pissed off at a breakup. It actually all happened because I was playing music. I was upset, and I was younger. I was 22, 23, something like that. Anyway, so I just got twisted, and I wear glasses, so I had this little eyeglass screwdriver just sitting there. It just happened to be handy, and I was pissed off because I couldn't get what I wanted to out of the guitar, and so I grabbed this thing, and I just drew a scratch down the side of it, and then I felt like a piece of shit because I was in that mode of I didn't know how to handle myself, and so I just turned it into art, and that's how the whole piece got started. It was this frustration at a loss that turned into this beautiful piece of art. But my catgut string guitar I got from a pawn shop. It was made in 1972. I drew all over the front of it. And then on the back, a guy wrote in Latin, "That which nourishes me also destroys me," when we did a lot of cocaine one night. It was a few of us, and he sat out there and did that. And it was fun. Anyway, so I don't really play classical guitar, but I do the acoustic thing. First name of our album is going to be Let's Take a Drive, by the way.
Okay, I'm glad you already thought all this out.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm usually now if this was like 3 or 4 years ago, I would have had to take all the naming duties. I wouldn't have allowed anyone else in the band to name anything. But I'm older. I'm wiser now.
No, I like it. It's niche, and I like it. And I love how the acronym for it, of course, is "Got 'em." That's great. Did you guys do that on purpose?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. No, well, that came after. That was just like a synchronicity. And then once we realized it was "Got 'em," yeah. Where did you find out that we say "Got 'em"?
I don't.
Yeah,
I just looked at.
GOTM.
Yeah, I just looked at your album cover, and it's got it on the dude's face, and so I was like, "Oh, it says fucking Got 'em." That's awesome.
Yeah,
I like it.
The next album we're gonna call it "Got 'em 19."
Nice.
One of the songs is called like "The New Normal." All that shit. Of course, I'm going there. That's where I'm fucking going with it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think anybody's gone there musically like that, though.
Yeah. We should have already had this album out. I've been slacking because I'm the one that hasn't written the rest of it, because our guitarist has written everything already. So
Okay.
it's all on me. But yeah, it's going to be called God of 19, and he's not going to have, it's going to be the same guy, same picture as the cover, but he's going to be wearing a mask.
Of course he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. You have to.
Yeah.
Like you're just wasting everybody's time if he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, I like it, man. Okay. Well, of course, I'm going to link to everything in the bottom of the show notes, and as well, like I'm going to link our conversation on your show because that was a fun conversation, man. You're a wonderful host. Thank you so much for having me. That was a wonderful time. And that's why I had to get you on over here because, dude, just your ideas and the scope of your interest is so wide. Why the hell are you into Greek pottery?
Oh yeah, you saw the David Warner math. Yeah, so I went to art school. I went to Mass Art for a semester. I was trying to study film, but they had me fucking in 8-hour drawing classes, and I'm not an artist. And of course, like I would spend all this time, they would be critiquing each other's work, which would be for a grade. The teacher would come over, she'd look at it, I'm like, yeah, Jay, this is bad. I'm like, yeah, I know. I've been doing this fucking 2 weeks. And it's just like, I can't give you a good grade on this. This is terrible. And I was like, yeah, okay, what do you think it deserves? Well, I'm giving you an F. And I'm like, great, totally, let's do that. At the Massachusetts College of Art is on Huntington Avenue in Boston, and it's right next door to the MFA. So everybody at Mass Art gets free access to the Museum of Fine Arts, which is one of the greatest museums in the United States, art museums. But it's one of the smaller ones. But they have one of the most extensive Greek pottery collections, Greek vases, in the world, and they have some of the most renowned pieces in there also. And we had to do, like a month-long we had to do a series of essays over the course of a month studying one thing in the museum. So I chose the Greek pottery because for whatever reason it spoke to me. And I was already, like, as a boy, I was already interested in Greek mythology, and it just seemed natural to pick that. And it's just an interest that kind of stuck with me my whole life. I went to the Met in New York, and I geeked out for like 3 hours in the Greek and Roman. It's a wing of the museum, but it's a building in and of itself. And I'm huge on Roman history. I've read a ton of books on Roman history, as well as listened to Mike Duncan's History of Rome back to front twice, which is just absurd. You don't have to do that, because it's something like 300 episodes, I think, and it's a deep dive on Roman history. I've just always been, it appeals to me, some things you can't explain, some things just catch your eye, and you're just like, I like that thing, I'm going to, and I'm not, I'm a Scorpio rising, so it offsets the Gemini in me, so I'm a Gemini Scorpio rising. It's like, and Gemini is supposed to be everything's on the surface, everything's fucking, here today, gone tomorrow. The Scorpio rising is like, no, we need to investigate this thing, And so, actually, when I was in massage therapy school, my teacher, she would do charts for everybody for free because she charged a lot of money to do that. She was a spiritual healer, massage therapist, Reiki master. She would do charts for everybody, compatibility charts, love charts, stuff like that. And so she did. I shit you not, too. She takes a look at my chart and she goes, "Wow." I was like, "What?" She was like, "I'm glad I'm not you."
Damn.
Yeah. She was like, "Listen, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to fucking destroy yourself, or you're going to become an incredible person that's going to change the world." I was like, "Okay."
Damn. And she's like, "That'll be $80.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she went in depth, because it's not just, there's different levels of astrology, right? You can do the fucking horoscope papers, and then you can like plug all your shit into an online calculator, and it gives you like the short version of each one of your signs, and then you can buy a book and cross-reference it with that, but then you can learn how to actually do it, and you learn how each of the signs pull on each other, and how, some people, because of experience, different aspects of their charts are more accentuated, the other ones are a little duller. but yeah, it took me a long time to like really figure out what I was supposed to be doing with my life. I mean, the band was always there, and that was always a pretty creative way to express myself, except I did way too many drugs, wasted way too much time, and the band never really went anywhere, even though like every time we played, we would get on like big bills with, like pretty substantial bands, which isn't a hard thing to do in the metal world.
Yeah.
In the metal world, like, a band that you think are like fucking gods, they're still living out of a fucking van, and we'd play with these bands and be like, dude, you guys are fucking incredible. What are you doing? And it's like, partying. You want to come? What's up? Yeah. And so, with the way that she like broke down my chart, she was like, well, look, you get the Gemini, right? It was like everything if you look at my chart too, how sometimes, well, a lot of the times it's like, there's a bunch on one side, a little bit over here. When you look at like the circular chart, when they do all the lines, mine is like, it looks like two squares on each other.
Damn.
And she was like, it's just like the well-roundedness of the chart. And it's crazy because this does feel super egotistic, like super narcissistic. But yeah, she's like, this doesn't ever happen. She was like, the way that all this stuff is aligned is almost in perfect balance. You've got the Gemini sun with the Scorpio rising. So you've got the superficiality, which gives you a good general layout of things, so that's really like, Geminis are kind of, they're criticized for that often, jack of all trades, or, they know a little bit about everything and nothing about anything. But that's where the Scorpio rising really. So I know it's actually maddening because like I have a ton of interest and I have to get down in all of them. And I'm always reading 5 fucking books at a time, and like a Virgo moon also. And she was like, this offsets the flittiness of your Gemini, because this is like a very emotional sign. So you have an emotionless sign flanked by 2 water signs, it's like, so I tend to be like very caring and I care deeply about the people I'm in relationships with. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't fucking need you though. Like it gets me in a lot of trouble. Or I get very angry about things that I shouldn't get angry at, things that it's like, this person's just being a person and I'm fucking infuriated by it. It's shit like that. But then I also have my Gemini, my Mercury is in Gemini. So that's the planet that rules communication. And so naturally, like communicating has always been my thing. And on top of that, I was born with my Mercury in retrograde. So that fucks it all up. She's like, I've never fucking seen this before. Like, where did you fucking come from? And then, but the cool part about that is that when Mercury is in retrograde and everyone's all fucked up and can't speak and their phones aren't working, I'm like, I'm having a great time. I'm on my fucking game.
It's the opposite for you.
Yeah.
But it's only
exactly.
like a third of the time.
Yeah.
So it's shit for you for 2/3 of the time?
I wouldn't say shit, but it's challenging.
Challenging. Okay. That's a much better word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. Okay, but that is interesting. So while all the people are, losing their shit around you, like you said, you're cool, steady as she goes.
Yeah. That's usually where I make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And like I make new friends and yeah. Yeah. And then like, I'm not going to go that farther into my chart, but, and then, my Venus is in Gemini, so that is like, that's counterbalanced to the Virgo moon. Because also that's like a very what's the word I'm looking for? It's a
contradictory.
It's contradictory, but it's a promiscuous sign.
Right.
It's a very
scandalous. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very much like a fun, loving type of relationship kind of a sign, but it's promiscuous. And then the Scorpio rising, you're just like horny all the time.
Right.
Like these things just fucking, it's fucked up, man. So alcohol and drugs is how you.
I was about to say, yeah,
you get through that,
yeah. Right? Yeah, that was the follow-up question, but thank you for hitting on it. I appreciate that. Yeah. No, it's fascinating, man. And I've never heard of the chart being balanced out like that, like you said. But that is an interesting combo, and in the infinite number of ways, or the finite number, because there's only so many signs, there's only so many people, times in which this can occur. So of course it's going to end up like that. And that's interesting, man. And I think that if there's something to be said about astrology, which, I've had several people on that say that, millionaires don't fuck with astrology, billionaires do. And so there is definitely something going on to it. All presidents have had astrologers, even lizard people need astrologers. So there's something to it for sure. And it's interesting to me. I definitely don't know enough about it. And the wife, like I said, will go off on these columns of things and she'll read it to me. And she's just like, oh my God, can you believe your signs? And I'm telling you, spot on impression here.
I love it, man.
Look
I
at
love
your
it.
signs. I just realized that my voice for my wife is Bill Hicks' voice for any female. That's great. Okay. I was wondering where I got that from. Bill Hicks. Thank you, Bill. We miss you.
Oh, man. I love the Southern accent. Anytime I go to the South, I'm like, I love all you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in love with it. And some people, so I live up here in Massachusetts, and my accent, I don't have one. I consciously did that.
Such a bad accent, dude.
It was a very conscious decision when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's just so unfortunate. Why did it stick?
I don't know. We don't do these things because they are easy. We do them because they are hard. And that's why we went to the moon.
You guys just were stubborn. Like, it's not a good accent. No offense, people in the North. I'm from the South. We have an angelic, and there's some ridiculous Southern accents too. Okay, this is on both sides. But let's be honest here. It sounds like you guys got into an accent. Everyone hated it, but you all just kept doing it because everyone hated it. You have this accent as a culture out of spite.
Yeah, we do a lot of things out of spite. And there's that great Joe Rogan's got a great joke about it too. He's like, they grow up in the North. It's like you walk out into the fucking shoveling. I hate it, man. I hate it. I hate shoveling. And we had like from like 2017 to 2018, it was an unbelievable amount of snow. It was an unbelievable amount of snow. Anyway, he's got that joke where he's like, you get outside and it's fucking cold and you got to fucking shovel your car out, and you get in the car and you turn it on and you're just like, fuck. And it's just like, but it creates this community, like, we got to stick together, And it's just like, it's totally true. You know what I mean? Like, all of my friends, like, it was one of the reasons I never left up here. I mean, my son is a reason now. And with all the Corona stuff going on and going on other lockdown, the stuff, the Corona stuff, the thing.
What is that?
I don't know. I forget
Corona.
exactly what it is. Everybody just keeps talking about it. I don't know. I just go with it. But because, I'm very tempted to just bounce. Like, Massachusetts got bad. And my mom lives down in Florida. Went down to Tampa. I did not want to leave. Like, I had to get dragged out of Tampa. Like, and I'm not fucking around.
If I went in Texas, I would have. Florida's looking real good right now with what the governor's talking about. Dude, have you seen that, man?
Yeah.
He should just put on a cape and just walk around. We'd be fine with it. Everybody's fine with this guy wearing a cape. Brilliant,
dude. He's going for president. That's what he's doing. He's going for president.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, if any of it was real, I would think it's awesome, but it's not. It's politics. But this dude at least is saying something that people can get behind, which is an interesting part of the psyop. Do you think that he's another puppet, that's saying this to kind of incite this division and kind of inspire, like a William Wallace kind of thing, but a psyop version of it?
It's definitely a possibility, but he's still big on the vaccines. He's still like,
there it is.
He's still like, oh yeah, we did it right, but we don't have to do these things because we did the vaccine. We don't have, blah blah blah. He's against the mandating of all that stuff, which I'll give him credit for that. That he's it's all voluntary. It's all on a voluntary basis. But he's still. I saw him in an interview and he was saying some shit like. He was like, nursing home deaths are down because we were so good with distributing the vaccines first to the nursing homes. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, take your fucking victory lap. Whatever. No, I think everything's a psyop. I'm kind of in that camp.
Oh, yeah.
And very few things I think aren't. I have a tough time with like meeting new people and talking about anything super seriously without, they're like, well, where's your evidence? Where's your I'm like, you really want to do this right now? All right, come back to my house. I got some books. I got some links. Like, I don't carry a fucking link tree with me on all this shit. And that's a hard thing too, is right. I mean, you learn so much over the course of I've been at this. I had a podcast back in 2012, 2015. That's when I the research really started, if you want to call it research, because you get shit from people for calling it research. They're like, you're not doing double blind studies. It's like, you can't do that with history.
Fuck off. Out of here. Yeah. Let's just talk about the ideas. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And there's also something, and you're for like, I don't know. I read a book in 2015. It was very convincing. I'm gonna have to go back and I guess like reread it and fucking go comb through his sources too. Um, but like you just kind of get a lot of stuff from inference, right? Just from reading history. You're like, well, I don't know. Governments have been slaughtering civilians for thousands and thousands of years, whether it's with swords or guns or missiles or bombs or vaccines. It's just a different new thing. I was a rapper for many years.
Get out of here. That I was waiting for it. There was something else. I was like, you manufacture roller skates in your part-time. What else do you have? Okay. What did you rap about?
About all this shit.
What was your name, first of all? We need to know your name.
Yeah, it was the PhD.
The PhD.
Yeah. It was good. I was trying to sound too black. If I were to do it these days, it would sound much more white. But the content was still good, actually. It was.
That's a good point, though. How do you do rap without imitating the culture that created it?
By being yourself.
Well, nobody says that, the dude that was in Hootie and the Blowfish is singing like a white guy. He's just singing.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if you were to listen to it, you go, oh, I see what he's saying. I understand.
Right.
You're just trying to sound like too street, too hard.
But that's the cadence. That's like the way that it interacts with the beat. That's the thing. I mean, what are you supposed to... Okay, give me the whitewashed version of something. Just go ahead, anything. Like and make it, a whitewashed rapper that's trying not to sound black.
All right. Have you ever heard Dynamite Hack's version of Eazy-E's?
Yes. That's your example?
Cruising down the street in my 6'4", jocking the bitches. They did that. You know what I mean? That's the...
You're right. That is the perfect example. And it's okay, but it's only okay because we have the original to compare it to and it's fun. The thing about it is I really think we're onto something here. I've never talked about this before, but I think that there's something to this. It goes with it. It's a cultural thing. Another weird damn thing is how people with British accents don't sing with a British accent.
No, but they rap with a British accent.
What the fuck is that about? This is turned into a Seinfeld sketch.
No, I've never really thought about that. Yeah, because the Rolling Stones don't sound like they're singing with Mick Jagger doesn't sound like he's singing with a British accent.
No, I mean, tons of people. Maybe a little bit Elton John, but really not. I mean, it's very subtle if it is. And then they start talking and they're like, oi, or whatever. And it's crazy. You're like, what the fuck did that come from? But they've been that way the whole time. Think about like Roger Waters. I mean, actually, Roger Waters
did sound British.
I was about to say, okay, yeah, Pink Floyd was one of those examples, but look at the Beatles.
Yeah. I think it has to do with just the nature of singing in the English language. So when you're like training to be a singer, I took lessons for many years. The way that you approach the vowels, there's no wiggle room for accent. Right. And I feel like maybe the accent can only happen if you really try or if it's really just you. It's just like, because usually when you're singing on the vowels. And if you're on a consonant, it's just to get to the next vowel.
Yes.
So maybe it doesn't allow for that. That's the only thing I could think of, other than maybe that. Most Western music is trying to imitate American music anyway. So maybe that's it.
But English was made up over there. You know what I'm saying? It's like they didn't sing before. Like then, by that standard, why don't we sing with English accents?
Because we're fucking American, bro.
Yeah, God bless it. Yeah, America.
Yeah. God bless America and no place else.
Fuck the rest. Damn it, I had something else about this. It was brilliant, and now I've forgotten it. It wasn't that brilliant. This is an awesome observation in music. I think that we've really cracked the code here on some stuff. I like these rabbit holes, and I think we should continue it. So what's the deal then with... you have different regions of the country singing in accents. Let's take country music, for instance. They sing with a draw. Now, some of them don't speak like that normally, and they'll add that draw to it. It's purposeful because it's part of the package. It's part of the deal.
Yes.
But that's what I think hip-hop and rap are as well. There's a theme to it, man. And if you come in there and try and do this thing with it, I think it would be seen as a worse idea. Plus, it's not authentic. people who are listening to that kind of music are influenced by that kind of cadence, or influenced by that kind of speech syntax, and all of this shit goes into it. Grammar. And these type of ideas are, the way that it tickles the beat, how they're able to make this flowetry, as it's called. This is a great observation in music. I really think that we've hit on this here.
Yeah, but I mean, there are also white rappers that rap like they're white.
You have like Lil Dicky. I love. Have you ever heard that guy?
No.
Oh my God! Look. Okay. Do you have a notepad or something near you?
Yeah.
Okay. Write down "Pillow Talk" or "Pillow Talkin'" or "Pillow Talk" by Lil Dicky. Now, do me a favor though. Don't listen to the song. Watch the video.
Okay.
The way this dude does this is fascinating, man. The video is awesome because it's really, really well done. The production quality and shit. The chicken, it's hot. It's great. And then, but Lil Dicky, he is awesome. The way that he presents this song is like something I've never heard with hip hop ever. You'll see. Text me once you watch it.
Okay.
I want to know what you think. Okay. So favorite conspiracy theory. What you got?
Oh, that's a tough one. It would have to be okay.
I say favorite, something that's whatever your favorite is.
Okay. Well, I first learned about this particular theory in The Undying Stars by David Warner Matheson. He wrote it in 2015. And then he got the idea from someone named Flavio Barbiero. And this book is called The Secret Society of Moses. And it's the idea that Vespasian was the emperor of Rome in 69, 70 AD. It was like the year of the 5 emperors. He was the emperor that won, because all the generals battled it out after the death of someone. Either he was murdered or he died of natural causes, and all the generals declared themselves emperor all at the same time. It just had it out. So Vespasian wins, and then he goes and he invades Israel, Judea, and basically, so I guess you'd have to backtrack a little bit. So Israel had been subdued by the Greeks first. So after Alexander's empire broke apart, one general, so Ptolemy took Egypt, the Sassanid took, Persia. Another one took the Greek and Roman area, the Greek areas, and one of them took Israel with it all, and so it got Hellenized and all that stuff. And there were divisions and all that stuff, but there was always there was always a resistance to the Greeks on the part of the Jews. And once the Romans came in and they took over Judea, they did it in 2 waves. They had to invade them twice, but this time was for real. Vespasian crushed them, and the warrior, there was a priestly warrior class of which Josephus, the historian, was a part of, and they all agreed that to keep the Romans from the secrets of the Jews and the gold that was stashed, throughout the country, they decided that they were gonna kill themselves. They were all gonna run each other on the sword, and the last one was gonna kill himself. Josephus was the last guy, and he goes to kill himself, and he goes, maybe I shouldn't. And he sells out everybody, and he tells the Romans where the gold is, and Vespasian lets him live, gets all the secrets, whatever those secrets are, and he brings him back to Rome, and Josephus lived out the rest of his life in Vespasian's villa. Well, what Josephus did was he brought he brought a huge amount of his family members, friends, administrators, priests, all kinds of people into the Roman Empire, and they spread themselves out, and they infiltrated the military, because the military was the dominant social instrument. It was the dominant institution of the Roman Empire. And they had all of these outposts in place where they would keep the legions, very important places, like up on the Rhine and the Danube. They had one in England, and they had one, along the frontiers and things like that. And those became like the dominant power centers. And you can find all of these in the grottos of like Hadrian's Wall, and in the grottos in the Danube and all that stuff. You find all of these pre-Christian symbols and all this stuff it's called the Sol Invictus Mithra, cult, and that was the dominant cult of the Roman military. And so the military got taken over by, and now it sounds like the ultimate like anti-Semitic, like Jewish conspiracy, but this one is just like fascinating to me. And so you have what are possibly like Jewish emperors later on down the line, or people that were influenced by this cult. And this cult gets picked up by Constantine, and he runs with it, and he uses, and it becomes Christianity, right? So he's like, he takes what was like being debated as at the time as Christianity, and injects the Sol Invictus into it because he knows that it's a great tool for social control. And, you know, fast forward, the empire falls and all that stuff. But all of the European kingdoms that come about in the Dark Ages and all that stuff, all those, if you look at all their symbols, all the heraldry, and these are all separated by time and distance and all that stuff, they couldn't really communicate with each other, but they all had the same Jewish symbols. And so it's like this great conspiracy that goes forward into like the Masons and all this stuff. It's like the biggest conspiracy of all time. But this particular like group or organization that spans time, they're the ones that stamped out eventually, you know, all of the ancient wisdom, you know, all of the when they went to South America and just totally raised it, because now they're starting to find out that you go to all these places where, I think we were talking about this earlier too. You know, they go to all these places. The architecture is way too good. You know, all the Graham Hancock stuff, all that, you know. And so it's just been this multi-thousand-year conspiracy to create the world that we have now and make us forget all the old ancient stuff that the Jews were trying to protect. Like they were supposed to be the last, like, I don't know, civilized people that held the secrets. They got them from Egypt, you know, when they were in Egypt, you know. So but it all gets like perverted over time by the Romans, and then, you know, it's definitely my favorite one, because it's the one that's like, I don't fucking know, but, you know, I spent like 2 years reading about it, you know, type of thing. But yeah, that's why it continues today. That's why you're hearing all these stories about, like, you're looking at these mountains in where's one of the ones? It's somewhere in the Balkans, and there's another one, I think, in the Philippines. It's like, no, dude, that's a fucking pyramid. And that pyramid is like 5 times the size of the Pyramid of Giza, you know. And and then with the mud flood stuff, you know, this could possibly tie into all that, you know. So that's definitely my favorite conspiracy theory. Yeah. Thought I was just going to say aliens, right?
Does this guy know how to party or what? Dude, you just had like the hardest Alison Cooper moment, because I'm sitting here, you're in a rock band, and I'm picturing myself as Wayne, and I'm backstage, and you're sitting here telling me about how Miliwake is an Algonquin word that means the good land, right?
Excuse me, it's actually pronounced Miliwake.
That was awesome. That is so much information. Like, this is what I'm saying, why you're so well-rounded. I get your chart, man. You're into great music. Like, you're badass. You have great conversation. You're great at your podcast hosting thing, which is a whole different deal, man. It takes a whole different set of skills. And then now you know all this cool shit about ancient cultures and how it even ties in and integrates in today. It's fascinating, dude. I mean, what you're interested in is interesting, which is cool.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And you know what, too? The fucking podcasting is so underappreciated.
I agree.
You know, it's
if you do it right.
Yeah, if you do it right. It takes such a variable amount of skills, a variety of skills.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I was lucky enough to do video production and broadcasting in high school. I was in the Communications Academy. Of course, like, that's why I originally went to Mass Art, was to study film, to continue that type of stuff. And obviously I carried it on as an interest. But, like, you know, just the amount of shit that you have to learn, like, okay, yeah, you think you're going to be able to get a camera. Obviously, I knew that this was going to be a thing, but you go to buy a fucking camera and you're talking to the guy. You're like, hey, man, you know, you should probably get a DSLR. Oh, okay, yeah, I know what that is. I'll get it. But then you're like, oh, fuck, I forget how frame rates work.
Yeah.
And is the shutter speed it's supposed to be twice the frame rate. And then you're spending, like, I had to actually, once I got the whole Adobe suite. And that's fucking everything. It's Premiere, Photoshop, Lightroom, the whole shebang. And I had to take like a 40-hour course on Premiere because it's not at all intuitive, not at all. And everything had changed. I hadn't done video production in years. And so I mean, of course, there's the amount of time that you have to spend like preparing for a podcast, getting to know your guests before you have them on and all that stuff. But the technical stuff, and then like all the stupid shit, like you're like, you're like, oh my God, how do I use the keyframe to make this text larger
Yeah.
a little bit, and it's just like, and then, just all kinds of shit. But and then uploading is an art in and of itself.
Yes.
Like, man, I love BitChute, but fuck BitChute. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not on there yet. Everybody tells me everybody keeps telling me to get on there. You think I should?
it's great if fucking the thing that you upload actually uploads.
Ah, so you're selling it pretty well. So I should probably hold off.
It's great. It's great. Yeah, it is. It is like all the stuff that's been banned on YouTube. It's like, oh, what was that fucking documentary I saw in 2016? What was it called? Hellstorm. Yeah, it's on fucking BitChute.
No way.
You know? Yeah. So all the stuff that's been put,
okay,
it's great.
I'll throw it up there. I'm patient. That's fine.
Yeah. No, it's not patience. That's not the thing. It's literally like you fucking upload your shit. It takes 25 minutes and then the screen, it gets to 100% and then that screen goes away and you're like, you hit finish and it says you have to upload a video and you go, no. And then you upload it again and it does the same fucking thing. And then you close out the browser. What's that?
It never duplicates. It never goes up there twice.
No, it more often than not just doesn't upload. And then you're fucking like, it's infuriating. And you think it's got something to do with the bit rate, and then you spent all night trying to figure out why your shit's not uploading to BitChute, and everybody just goes, "Hey, sometimes it just doesn't work." Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Odyssey is better, except that you can only fucking upload in 720. All my videos are in 1080.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
Oh, you gotta compress the shit out of it.
Yeah, it's not just that. You have to fucking go in and shrink everything in the sequence settings, shrink the sequence, and then shrink the graphics and shrink the text. And then the things that you're just like, oh, you know what? I never thought about it. I could nest it all. I never thought about that. I could nest all the files and then, okay, you know what? I just thought about that right now.
All right, explain it for the audience. Go ahead.
No, you can nest files in Premiere. Like if you have like 5 or 6 video files or like a bunch of graphics, you can nest them all into one thing on the sequence. And I never thought about that till right now.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody out there, my shit's going to be on Odyssey very soon. I just
when you get it up, let me know. I'll post it. I'll link it out. There's a lot more to it, man. I just recently went through and redid all the thumbnails for my YouTube videos. I didn't know that was a fucking thing. And now I'm a graphic designer. And so it's like, okay, so we make videos, and we have to be able to send great emails, all that kind of stuff. There's a whole professionalism when you get to speaking to some of the guests that you've had as well, man. I mean, you get to these people and you're talking to their publicist or something like that. You got these gatekeepers and you're super formal. And I'm like, I didn't fucking go to school for this shit. So I look up templates on like nice email writing and shit. But it makes you really, like you said, well-rounded, and you're basically running a business, with just you being the only employee. It's pretty cool.
I was actually pretty impressed with like your intake forms, to get into the podcast. So it's like, dude, I don't even do that.
Yeah, copy that and use it. It's just something I came up with and wrote. Yeah. So it's just like a little welcome letter. Yeah. And then I just changed your name and the time and date and stuff. It's just, that's it. And just some housekeeping, man. I did have to put that, please plug your device in on there. For the audience, whenever I get a guest, I send out a welcome and confirmation email that has basically our time and date confirmed, and then some housekeeping stuff like, send me links and bio, whatever. And then, hey, this thing's going to be videoed if you're cool with that, but also plug your device in. Yes, it has been an issue. So you gotta think about that. And I've had wireless headphones die, so I've kind of suggested against those. That letter's gotten a lot longer as I've been doing this a little bit longer. I'm like, oh yeah, don't forget to tell them not to do this. Make sure you have a light in front of you. It's weird, the things that you have to think about. And you only do that whenever you ruin someone's interaction with you by not having that stuff done. And so you're like, fuck. I've actually got a whole, I want to say 8 episodes or something like that I don't have up on YouTube or anything because the video was so shit because I call that time period BGI, before good internet, and then we got our internet upgraded out here because we live in the country, and then I have AGI, after good internet. Those are all the videos that are up there and worth their shit. The other ones were so glitchy, dude. I had to go in and make 1,000 edit points in the audio alone, and I was like, fuck these videos. I can't do it. So it's, like you said, man, there's just a lot fucking to it, man.
Dude, I tell people all the time, fucking Ethernet cable. Like, I don't know why I have to explain this. Fucking Ethernet cable.
And I don't even go that far with it, dude. I'm just like, man, we'll take what we can get. Most of the time, it's okay. I can clean the audio up here. And yes, there have been some hard, like, Zoom glitches. And I'll grab that bitch and snap it together. You know, you go in and do some surgery or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, well, you can forgive someone that's not a podcaster. If you're talking to another podcaster, get a fucking Ethernet cable.
Yeah, quit fucking around, man. What are we doing, amateur hour?
It's like $20. Get a Cat 9. Get the most expensive, stupid one you can. They're not that expensive.
Plug that bitch
you never
right
have an
in.
issue.
Yeah.
Right in there.
Yeah.
Anything else that's on Xfinity or Fios or whatever the fuck, that's on them. The rest of that, but you did your part.
That's so funny. Well, shit, dude. Let's probably wrap it up here, man. Tell me a few things that you're grateful for in your life, man, before we wrap. Let's do this. This whole episode's been a positive experience, but let's fucking kick it up a notch.
Yeah, no, you know what? I am super grateful for everybody that I've met over the past 2 months. Everybody in the podcasting world. I cannot even begin to express how thankful I am that not only have they been they've given me their time, but they're always super helpful. And they always just I didn't know that everybody in this community was as nice as they are. I'm super grateful that everything has been going as well as it has. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for waking up in the morning. You know, I'm grateful that when I wake up in the morning, I'm happy to be up, because that wasn't always the case.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for not only that, but for all the podcasts that I do listen to. I'm grateful that all those people even exist, because I've learned so much from them. And now that's you too. And yeah, and fucking, I don't even know, the content game has been so strong lately that it always brings a little piece of joy to my life every day. I don't get to listen to as many podcasts now as I used to, but yeah, you know, I'm grateful for, you know, if I wanted to take a much more personal side of it too, I'm super grateful for my family. You know, we're a very dysfunctional family, but everybody, you know what I mean, in the family, they give you the shirt off their back, and you know you're in a hole. Here's $1,000. You know, don't even ask for it back. And you know, it's just a shit like that makes you want to cry sometimes. Like when you're the most down on your luck, and your mom gives you $1,000. You know what I mean? I haven't had to cash that chip in a while, but you know, I know that she's always there. But yeah, my family for sure. You know. And I'm grateful for you, Brendan.
Ah, shit, dude. I am truly grateful for you, my friend. No, this has been awesome. We met on Union of the Unwanted. We talked about this on your show. Linked in the bottom, guys. Go check that interview out. Jay is incredible. Go subscribe to his channel. Phenomenal show. So we met on Union of the Unwanted, and like you said on that show, who the fuck brought this guy here? You know, what's he doing here? Charlie brought me there, by the way. But we both had on the show. Charlie Robinson, he's wonderful. But no, you just got such clarity, dude, and I'm grateful that you reached out. I'm grateful that we connected, man, and you're doing a hell of a job, dude. I mean, you're murdering it, so just keep moving forward, brother, you know? So I am grateful for you, absolutely. We will do this again soon. Jay, thank you so much, man. This was awesome.
Thank you, Brandon.
Jay Henehan, everybody. Awesome guy. Y'all make sure to check out the links below for all the ways to find him. Just thankful for him, man. Us connecting is really, really cool. So he's just a really good dude, and grateful to know this guy. So, like I said, check him out in the show notes, guys. As for this show, though, you can find us at expandingrealitypodcast.com. That is where the links to all of the socials will be found. We actually also upgraded to, I want to say 12 or 16 new platforms. So we're on over 28 different ways that you can find us out here, plus the website, plus YouTube, of course, which you can link to from the website. So we're not hard to find, guys. Thank y'all so much for spreading the message. The show is doing wonderfully, and I'm grateful that you guys are interested in the same stuff I am. So this has been a lot of fun, and thank y'all for being along for the ride. Just wanted to say that from the bottom of my heart. Also, go out into your week this week, guys, and just buy somebody a meal or a coffee in line behind you. Pick up a piece of litter. Don't litter in the first place, of course. Be nice to every animal that you come across. And, of course, that means humans as well. Get out of the left-hand lane, preferably. Thank y'all for doing that. And also, go out into your world this week, guys. And the big message of all of it, man, is just to be good to one another. Thank y'all so much for listening. It means the world to me. Thank you. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.